Hello, welcome to Cooking with Creme. I'm Creme, and happy Valentine's Day! Woo! Today, in the spirit of the season, we are going to be making Valentine's Day cookies. This is a recipe I make every year. It's kind of shortbready, and it's based on a recipe that I found in a recipe book, but I changed it up a little bit to be good. So, today I'm going to show you how I do that. So this is everything that you'll need. 1 cup or 2 sticks of butter or margarine, softened, salted or unsalted, it's up to you. 1/3 cup of powdered sugar, or icing sugar, or whatever you call it. 1 teaspoon of vanilla extract. 2 cups all-purpose flour. 1/4 teaspoon of an extract of your choice. I'm just using more vanilla, but you could also use peppermint, almond, orange, things like that. Of course, this is optional, but I like to add food dye, either red, pink, purple, something Valentine's Day-y. And some classic granulated sugar. Alright, so these are all our ingredients. Now we mix all the ingredients besides the granulated sugar in a large bowl. And just for a quick reference, I'll put all the ingredients up here on the side. Yes, this recipe is egg-free, but I still wouldn't advise eating the dough because there is raw flour. Okay, so learn from my mistakes. I would recommend adding in the food dye before you add in the flour, because from this point it's really hard to color the dough. So I would mix it in with the butter and sugar mixture and then add the flour in. Just a tip. But if you did it the hard way like me, I'll show you how I work it out. So, take a small section of dough. You should end up with a really soft, crumbly dough. And add in some food dye. And say rest in peace to your nice clean hands because they're going to be all red after this. So now you're going to just carefully mix it in to that small section. Okay, and you want this section to be a bit darker than you want the rest of the dough to turn out. So now you're going to mix it in with the rest of the dough and it should all balance out to a nice pink color, or a lighter version of whatever dye you're using. And repeat the process until the dough is your desired shade. And this is a great way to make really pretty kind of swirled marbled cookies too, especially if you split up the dough in 2 batches and then swirl them together before you cut them out. So this is the color I ended up with, and just keep in mind that I find that after they bake, the color lightens up a little bit, so maybe make it a little darker than you want. And now since the dough is so crumbly and kind of sticky and hard to work with, I'm going to put it in the fridge. You can only put it in for a couple hours, but I don't have time, so I'm just going to do it overnight, and I'll see you back tomorrow when our dough is nice and chilled. Okay, so it's the next day, and the dough is very chilled, and it's time to start baking the cookies. So first you're going to preheat your oven to 350 degrees Fahrenheit. Okay, and now I'm gonna get my dough. It is rock hard. I just cut out a small little chunk of the dough and I'm gonna massage it in my hands a little bit to warm it up a little bit, just enough to roll it out and then cut out my cookies. Now my dough is nice and soft and I'm gonna roll it out on some wax paper to about 1/4 inch and then cut out my cookies. Okay, so now you're gonna cut out your cookie and then put it on an ungreased baking sheet, and I put them about 1 inch apart because they don't really spread out much. If the dough's too sticky, you can always sprinkle a little flour on your rolling pin or on your surface to make it a little less sticky. So here are the cookies that I've cut out. The cookie cutters I used were 2 types of hearts, lips, an arrow, and a little heart key. And now before you bake them, you can top each one with a little granulated sugar, or for more fun, some sprinkles. Now we pop them in the oven for 7 to 9 minutes, and I'll see you back here when they're done. And 7 minutes later, we have some complete cookies, and if you'd like to frost them, you can go ahead, but I personally don't think they need frosting since they are more of a shortbready type of cookie. And you know they're done when they look very set, they're not shiny, and after they've cooled for a couple minutes, you should be able to move them around on the tray. So now I'm going to repeat the process with the rest of the dough, and then I'll see you back when all the cookies are finished. So I ended up with a little over 2 dozen cookies, not counting the amount of cookie dough I dropped on the floor and the cookie that I dropped in the oven. Anyway, so here's what we ended up with. Some of them have red sprinkles and some of them just have the sugar on top. And now I'm gonna do a taste test to see how they turned out. So I'm gonna have this one. It's a little heart. It actually broke off of one of the keys. Shh. It's so good. They're so crumbly, so you do have to be really careful when you're working with them. But the good thing about that is the end texture of actually eating it. It's just so good, and it's kind of crazy that there's only 1/3 of a cup of sugar in this entire thing, and it tastes so sweet, like you would never be able to guess. So overall, I think they turned out really well, and I hope if you make them yourself that you enjoy them just as much as I do. And I hope you like this video whether you're gonna make them or not. Have a super happy Valentine's Day, and let me know down below if you make these cookies or what you do make for Valentine's Day. If you make anything, I don't know, maybe that's just something I do. But if you like this video, please give it a like and subscribe so you never miss a new video. And I will see you guys next week. Happy Valentine's Day. Bye!